Hello and welcome back to Ghost Stories, the podcast that features the great people of Kaukauna High School, home of the Galloping Ghosts. I'm the proud principal, Aaron Herm. When we think of Kaukauna High School sports, we probably picture being under the lights at Bank of Kaukauna Stadium or in the gym for basketball or volleyball or wrestling. But some of our most dedicated Galloping Ghosts represent us miles away from school. Today's podcast is about our co-op sports. These programs bring together student athletes from across the valley, creating teams where students who are rivals during the school day become teammates in their sports. Kaukauna is part of co-op programs that give students opportunities to participate in hockey, swim and dive, and lacrosse. In this podcast, you're going to hear from two Kaukauna student athletes who participate on co-op teams. Evie Mursau, a senior leader on the Fox City Stars girls hockey team, and Avery Eisenschink, a swimmer in the Appleton East Kaukauna Hortonville team. I'm also joined again in this episode by our communications and marketing coordinator, Brianna Moody, who's my interview partner on this episode. So let's get to the interview. All right, who am I here with?
I'm Evie Mursau. I'm a senior, and I play for the Fox City Stars girls hockey team.
Awesome.
I'm Avery Eisenschink, and I'm a junior, and I compete with girls swim and dive.
All right. And what makes those sports unique compared to some of the other sports that we offer here at Kaukauna High School?
I think what makes it unique is that we come to school and we have our school friends, but then we go to our games and practices and we have friends from other schools and places.
Sure. So with the hockey team, so it's a co-op team, right? Kaukauna is just one of the schools that participates, and you guys are the stars. You're not the ghosts necessarily, right? How many schools are part of your team?
Well, we have 16 schools, and then 12 are active this season.
That's a lot of schools. Awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Avery? How about swim and dive?
Swim and dive is a co-op between Kaukauna, Appleton East, and Hortonville.
Okay.
And I think what makes it unique is swimming isn't like a super popular sport. So it's something that sets you apart. And again, kind of like Evie said, you get a completely different group of people than you would see on the regular in school and your classes. And I think that's something that creates like a special bond between people. And I think for me, that's just like a huge part is just being able to meet a bunch of different people and get to share that experience with them that maybe not the whole school could participate in and it also experience.
Yeah, that's great. And where do you practice and compete?
So the swimmers compete at Appleton East and our practices are there. And then our divers dive at Appleton West.
Oh.
So the diving regulation is 12 feet. The pool needs to be, and Appleton East's pool is only 9.5 feet. So the divers are at Appleton West where the pool is 15 feet.
Okay. I didn't realize that. I thought it was all at East. How about the hockey team? Where are you guys meeting?
We practice at Tri-County Ice Arena.
Sure. Okay.
In Neenah.
Yep.
And then we compete there, and then the closest places to us are Green Bay, Fond du Lac, and Stevens Point.
Sure. So as a co-op team, we have obviously our fully school-sponsored Kaukauna-only sports compete in the FVA, the Fox Valley Association. Who do you compete against?
Yeah, the schools we compete against are Green Bay, Fond du Lac, and the Milwaukee schools. That's our conference.
Okay. So that's some travel sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we play teams from other conferences. So down in Madison a lot, and then out west by Hudson, Hayward, up there.
Sure. Are those ever overnight trips with that amount of travel?
Yeah, sometimes they are overnight, but typically Madison ones we come back right away.
Sure. But that's another cool opportunity then to be able to stay overnight, and I'm sure there's some team bonding. What's that like?
Oh, it's really fun when you get to hear your room assignment after the game and seeing who you're with and then staying past curfew and doing that fun stuff.
Awesome. Who do you compete against, Avery?
We're actually a part of the FEA conference.
Okay.
So the schools are Fond du Lac, Oshkosh North, Oshkosh West, Appleton North, and then there's another co-op. It's between Appleton West and Kimberly.
Okay.
So those are our like traditional conference people we go against for like duels and stuff.
Sure.
And then we have some invites that incorporate some out of conference teams as well. But we compete within the FVA conference.
Awesome.
I have a question. So what got you guys interested in your respective sports?
Well, growing up, my oldest brother played hockey, and then I never thought about it. I always ran around the rink playing with my friends, didn't really care until my uncle got me a stick, and so then I just tried it and stuck with it.
So what age did you start playing?
6.
Wow. So you've been playing for a long time?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I feel like 6-year-olds playing hockey has to be a really fun thing to watch.
Yeah, it is. We had no idea what we were doing.
And what position, like, do you have positions that you play?
Yeah, I'm a forward, so I play center typically or right wing.
Okay. And what got you into swimming?
I've been taking swim lessons since I was like as early as you could. And when I was done with swim lessons at the YMCA, it was kind of like, what's next? And the teacher was like, oh, you could join the swim team. And I was like, well, I love swimming, so might as well do it. And I got into that around 9 years old and stuck with it since then. And I compete with the FCYSC club team year round. And then when I came to high school, our co-op was actually brand new my freshman year, but it was perfect because Appleton East was right down the road. One of my closest friends goes to Appleton East. She's also a swimmer, and it was just one of those things that like, oh, I'm going to do this. And, since then I've just been kind of going back and forth between club and high school, and it's something that I love and I'm going to keep doing.
So what events do you swim in then?
I swim the 100 butterfly, and in high school I also swim the 50 free, but when I go back to club I do distance like the 1,000 and the mile.
The mile swim?
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, good for you. That's fantastic. So since your events don't take place and your practices don't take place here at school, how does that work into your schedules? What does that look like for you as student athletes?
So we practice at East, which is obviously right down the road, but trying to get out of the parking lot at the end of the day makes it hard to get to practice on time. But my coaches for swim are super flexible. They kind of extend our time to get to practice to be a little bit later depending on traffic. But the commute isn't overly too bad. We get out early almost every Tuesday for our meets because a lot of times we have to drive to East and then get on a bus from East to go to Fond du Lac or Oshkosh or North or other places like that. But, I mean, the commute is not too bad for me. Evie goes to Dina, so I'm sure it's much more difficult, but
yeah. I'm always racing out of school to get to practice on time, especially it's like 20-25 minutes, depending on traffic. And then putting on all my gear takes some time too, so really rushing to get there. Practice is usually a little over an hour every night, and then we sometimes have dry land team bonding, so that's extra time, and then coming back. It's a lot of travel, but it is definitely worth it. If we have far away games, which we typically do, we're always out of school early, so that's kind of a perk.
So like you said, you have a freshman who obviously can't drive yet. So like, how does that work when you have people how do they get transported if they can't drive themselves?
Typically we ask like if you have someone else that goes to your school, you take them, or parents have to come pick them up. So last try, I had my 5th hour off, so I just went home for a little bit. Then I came back here to pick up my teammate, and we went. And it sometimes you have to sacrifice for that because I'd like to get to the rink early, not have to worry about racing out of here, but you got to do what you have to do.
That's nice, being a good teammate.
Yeah, this season I drove our freshman, Sydney Josephson, to practice every day, but me and her would like meet by the nurse's office, and then we would like run out to the parking lot. And we have morning practices as well. So varsity has morning practices 2 days a week. And so we would drive I'd pick her up at her house at like 5 a.m. We would go to practice. I'd drive her to school. We'd go to school. We'd drive to practice at the end of the night.
Oh, wow.
Like it was just me and her spent a lot of time together. But,
yeah.
it's always fun.
Yeah. You get along?
Yes, we do
good.
really well.
Good.
Me and Sydney, I've known her since she was probably 5 or 6.
Oh, that's really cool.
She played soccer with my sister and then went all the way with my sister. And so, yeah.
That's super cool.
I have to compliment you guys on just the dedication.
Dedication, yeah.
And I think we're thinking the same thing, Mr. Herm, that it's easier when your sport is here right at the high school and you can just walk down and participate. But you guys are really dedicated to getting yourselves to practices, to games and all of that, and then helping fellow teammates out. So that's awesome.
So what is a hockey practice like? What types of things are you doing?
Well, when we first get out there, we warm up, a lot of skating, edge work, and all that stuff.
What's edge work?
Like practicing to balance like on your skates and like having that control.
Okay.
And then we typically get into drills like flow, which is the whole ice. We're doing that. And then small area battle games and stuff. So we're like getting physical, getting in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's our practice basically.
How about swim practice?
So we practice a lot. It's a really big time commitment.
Yeah.
So we have 2 morning practices a week, which are like an hour and a half. And then we have 5 night practices a week, which are an hour 45. And then we have 2 45-minute dry lands on top of it. So, which is like getting in the weight room. So it's a lot of commitment, but we get there, we get in our suits, we do typically like a dynamic warm up so that like we don't get hurt our shoulders, anything like that. And then we just kind of jump in and varsity gets their workout and JV gets their workout. And depending on what strokes and stuff you're swimming, you'll get a specific workout based on that stroke or that race. And you just kind of stay in your own lane the whole practice. And then when you're done, you get out, you eat some food and you leave.
Yeah. What are some of the highlights when you look back at the careers you've had so far in hockey and in swim? What are some successes? What are some of the, when you look back at that experience, what do you remember fondly?
I honestly think just like the team in general is some things that I look back at, not specifically like competing in a sport or like a specific like race, just having like the team, whether in the club setting or the high school setting, it's just something that like I really truly appreciate. There are people that you like wouldn't typically see outside, and I feel like through the hard practices and the hard moments at the meets and all the celebrations too, like you just create a bond that is something that you won't be able to make anywhere else.
Yeah, I agree with Avery. Having that bond with your teammates and watching you grow throughout the season, even if you have some lows and your highs, and just how you bounce back from all of that.
Yeah, awesome. One question maybe I should have asked sooner. How many Kaukauna athletes do we have on each of your teams right now?
We have 2.
Okay.
This season we had 3, but one of our seniors is graduating, so next year we will have 2.
Sure. So I think one of the reasons we're gathered around the table is we want to make sure that people are aware that this opportunity exists for them, right? Because sometimes, your coaches are not necessarily Kaukauna teachers or Kaukauna staff members, right? And so you don't have somebody in the school necessarily promoting all the time. So what would you say to people who might be interested? How do they get involved in your sports?
So right now, we are hosting 2 flex sessions in May for the swim team, just to kind of get some information, some background about the sport, some background about our team. We do have an Instagram page that people can visit and a website that you can contact our coaches on. Otherwise, if you're at Kaukauna and know me, just reach out.
Yeah.
Find a teacher who knows me or get my email or something and I can help out. And I'm really just trying to get more people involved because I think it's an experience everyone should have.
Yeah, we have a lot of social media, Facebook, Instagram, Fox A Stars Girls Hockey, if you want to look that up. And then if you have any questions, like Avery said, you can ask me. My teammate's a freshman, Haley Fisher. So she'll still be here and some girls coming up. And you can also talk to the AD if you have any more questions.
Yeah, Mr. Smith definitely will get you hooked up. yeah, I just think that's a good thing to know because, again, I think it's very easy to know how do I get involved in football or basketball or baseball or some of those, like sports that maybe are out in the forefront more. But you guys deserve to be out in the forefront just as much. All right. Well, hey, I just want to say thank you for coming on the podcast. I'm glad you both had an opportunity to promote your programs too, as we want to get more ghosts on those teams. So thank you for coming.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening. And as always, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. So please subscribe. We've got one more episode coming next month to wrap up the 2025-26 school year. And it's a special one. I'm looking forward to it. So until then, it's a great day to be a ghost.